Look up at the night sky. On a clear night, away from city lights, you can see about 2,500 stars. It seems like a lot. It feels vast. But what you are looking at is less than 1% of 1% of our own neighborhood. The reality is so much bigger that our brains physically cannot comprehend it. The Milky Way galaxy alone contains up to 400 billion stars. And within the observable universe, there are roughly 2 trillion galaxies. For every grain of sand on every beach on Earth, there are 10,000 stars out there. And we now know that planets are common. Most stars have them. Many of them are in the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right for liquid water, just right for life. Given these numbers, logic dictates that the universe should be teeming with noise. There should be empires spanning star systems. There should be radio signals, megastructures, or robotic probes visiting every corner of the galaxy. Other civilizations have had billions of years of head start on us. They should be everywhere. But when we point our telescopes at the stars, we see nothing. When we listen with our radio dishes, we hear nothing. Just a silent, cold, infinite void. This is the Fermi paradox. And the answer to it might be the single most terrifying concept in science. The Great Filter. To understand the filter, we have to simplify the story of life. Imagine the journey from dead matter to an interstellar godlike civilization as a staircase. Step 1 is atoms arranging themselves into simple organic molecules. Step 2 is those molecules turning into simple, single-celled life. Step 3 is simple cells merging to become complex, multi-celled life. Step 4 is animals evolving brains and intelligence. Step 5 is intelligence creating tools, language, and civilization. And step 6 is civilization conquering its own planet and expanding into the stars. It looks like a natural progression. We look at ourselves and think, this is inevitable. But the Great Filter theory suggests that one of these steps is not a step at all. It is a wall. A barrier so difficult, so unlikely, or so dangerous, that 99.9% of species fail to cross it. They hit the wall, and they die. Or they simply never evolve further. The big question, the question that determines the fate of humanity, is simple. Where is the wall? There are only 2 possibilities. Either the wall is behind us, and we are special, or the wall is ahead of us, and we are doomed. Let us look at scenario 1, where the filter is behind us. This is the optimistic view. Although it is lonely, it suggests that the universe is empty because creating life is impossibly hard. We think life is easy because it happened here, but we are suffering from survivorship bias. Maybe the first step is the filter. We still do not know how dead atoms suddenly became alive. We have tried to replicate this in labs for decades, and failed. It is possible that the spark of life is a 1 in a trillion lottery ticket that only Earth has ever won. Or maybe, the filter was later. For a billion years, life on Earth was just boring. Simple bacteria, nothing happened. Then, by total accident, one bacteria ate another bacteria, but did not digest it. They merged. This created the eukaryotic cell, the power plant of all complex life. This might be the hardest step in the universe. It took Earth 1.5 billion years to figure it out. Maybe there are billions of planets out there covered in green slime and bacteria, but not a single one of them ever made the jump to complex animals. If the filter is behind us, we are the first. We are the elder race of the universe. There is no Star Wars. There is no Star Trek. There is only us. The universe is a vast, blank canvas, and we are the only ones holding a paintbrush. But then, there is scenario 2, the one that keeps scientists awake at night. What if evolving life is easy? What if life is everywhere? What if the staircase is easy to climb, right up until the very end? This means the Great Filter is ahead of us. This implies that civilizations rise all the time. They discover fire, they build cities, they invent the internet, they unlock the secrets of the atom. They look exactly like us, and then, they vanish. This theory suggests that once a civilization reaches a certain level of technology, it becomes suicidal. Think about it. We have only had nuclear weapons for 80 years, and we have almost blown ourselves up 3 or 4 times. And nuclear bombs are old technology. What happens when we invent something more dangerous? What happens when we create an artificial intelligence that does not share our values? What happens when a genetically engineered supervirus escapes a lab? What happens when we burn all the resources on our planet before we can build a spaceship to leave it? Currently, humanity is a Type 0.7 civilization on the Kardashev scale. We can harvest the energy of dead plants, like oil and coal, but we cannot yet control our planet. We are in a state of technological adolescence. We are like a baby playing with a loaded handgun. We are smart enough to pull the trigger, but not wise enough to put the safety on. If the filter is ahead of us, the silence of the universe is not because it is empty. It is because it is a graveyard. The stars are filled with the ruins of worlds that got as far as we did, and then made a mistake. So, are we walking blindly toward our death? Maybe, but we have one advantage that those dead civilizations might not have had. We know the wall is there. We are looking for it. We are aware of the dangers of AI, of climate collapse, of nuclear war. We are the first species in the history of our planet, perhaps in the history of the galaxy, that can choose its own fate. If we can survive the next 200 years, we might become a Type 1 civilization, a species that is in total control of its home planet, a species that is sustainable, unified, and safe. From there, we move to Type 2. We leave Earth. We harness the power of the sun. We become immune to extinction because even if Earth is destroyed, humanity lives on among the stars. This is the dream. This is what we are fighting for. The Great Filter is a test, and it is a test we have to pass. Whether we are alone, or whether we are in danger, the conclusion is actually the same. This planet is precious. You are precious. If we are the only life in the universe, then we are the universe's only way of experiencing itself. Without us, the universe goes back to being blind, deaf, and dumb. We are the guardians of consciousness. We are the carriers of the light. If we die, the story ends. So, let the silence of the stars motivate you. It tells us that life is rare. It tells us that survival is not guaranteed. It tells us that we have a lot of work to do. Let us not let the light go out. If you want to join us as we try to decode the universe, step by step, click the subscribe button. We release new videos every month. Welcome to Simply Decoded. Thanks for watching.